All right, guys, Troy Francis here. Who is the biggest player, or who are the biggest players? Men or women? Well, quite obviously, it's got to be women, hasn't it? Let's explain why. Women are, without a doubt, the biggest players in society. When I say society, I'm particularly talking about London, the UK, America, Australia, Canada, the Anglosphere, and across Europe, actually, and much of Latin America. Women are the biggest players. Why is that? Well, quite simply, because they're the ones with the options, okay? I mean, it's not rocket science. Women are the ones with the options. Women will often engage with material like this. They'll engage in conversations about the dating marketplace, and they will have this default assumption that men are all running around, these horrendous players, going around, sleeping with hundreds of women, being super promiscuous, all over the place, treating these women very badly, and generally being kind of roguish scumbags. Absolutely not the case for the most part. The dating marketplace, the sexual marketplace, like any other kind of marketplace, is based on demand and supply. Simple economics, A-level economics. If there's no demand for your product, for you, for whatever it is you're putting out there, then guess what? You're not gonna sell it. All right? It's as simple as that. Women are the ones with the demand. Women are the ones with the options. Most men, and when I say that, what I mean is 80% of men do not have that kind of leverage in the sexual marketplace. They just don't, you know? And you may not believe that. You may think that that's not true. But why do you think it's the case? Inceldom is on the rise, and male virginity amongst Gen Z is on the rise, okay? Why would that be the case? Well, it's because, increasingly, a lot of guys are simply shut out from having access in the sexual marketplace because women are selecting what they regard as the top tier dudes, the guys who are at the top of the tree, both economically, in terms of looks, probably in terms of fitness and grooming and all these different things. Women are selecting the dudes in the top category, and women are effectively sharing guys, because speak to any group of women and you will quite quickly learn that most of them have been cheated on at some point in their lives, which means that effectively they're selecting from the same pool of dudes who are going around and sleeping with all of them. So there is a problem here, and we've discussed this before. There is a problem here because women are choosing from this small pool of guys in the top 20%. But nevertheless, the fact remains that these women are the ones who have the access in the sexual marketplace. These women are the ones who have the options. The guys in the 80%, they even if, with the best will in the world, even if they wanted to be players, and probably many of them do, they find it very, very difficult to break out and to become that player archetype. And this is why there's such a big market for dating advice for men, right? Because so many guys find that part of the process very, very difficult. The truth really, really comes down to the very, very simple fact. If there is no demand for your riz, then you're not going to be able to be a player. And this is why women are the biggest players. Now, women are the ones who generally, I saw this actually on Twitter the other day. So there's this phrase in men's dating advice, spinning plates. There's this phrase, spinning plates, which is basically like, all right, so if you're a guy, maybe you're seeing one girl spinning one plate over here, and then you're seeing another girl spinning the plate here, and then you're seeing another girl spinning the plate there. Okay, so you're keeping the plates spinning. And somebody on Twitter very astutely said, well, that was just a term made up on the internet by somebody. For women, that's just what dating is. You know, for women, spinning plates or having multiple dudes that you're seeing non-exclusively at the beginning, that's just how it is for women. That's just how they experience dating. There doesn't need to be a special name for it. There doesn't need to be some kind of fancy internet term for it. That's just how they do dating, all right? They keep their options open until they've secured the best value guy, the highest value guy that they believe that they're able to consolidate on. And then sometimes they will go, okay, all right, this is the guy, and they will focus on him for a while, and they get into something monogamous, maybe for a period of time. Although, you know, if they're young and they're enjoying their so-called party years, maybe they don't even do that. Maybe they don't even consolidate even on the high value guy at that point. But let's say that they do. It's women who have the ability to do this, all right? The majority of male profiles on Tinder and on the dating apps get swiped past. And not only do women not find these guys attractive, they actually find them actively unattractive. So what that means is that women find the majority of guys out there, not only, I'm not really into him, women, they find them actively, God, that guy's giving me the ick. I'm not feeling it, okay? I'm not attracted to that dude, okay? Women are actively repulsed by the majority of guys, all right? And this is a big problem, right? It causes this huge imbalance in the dating marketplace. And it's a problem, as I say, for guys, because what do? And it's a problem for women because you've got such a small pool of dudes to choose from, okay? But in saying that, women are the ones who are getting hit up all the time. Women are the ones who are getting presented with these offers all the time, you know? And particularly, as we know, the more attractive the woman she is, the more likely it is that, you know, she's getting DMs sent to her, she's getting invitations, she's getting propositions, perhaps from dudes all over the planet. So women are able to spin plates, okay? Women are able to keep several of these little things, these little intrigues going at the same time. Most men would love to be able to do that, but they're locked out, all right? They're priced out of the market unless they find a way to hack the market, okay? Or they use arbitrage. And that's why the passport bro thing has become so prevalent these days, because, and we'll talk about this in another video, but the passport bro thing is so prevalent because guys are seeking to escape a marketplace where they've been priced out, so the United States of America, and go somewhere else where they still have decent value, maybe Latin America or Thailand or something like that. So that's why the passport bro thing is so big. And that's why women don't like the passport bro thing, because the current setup as it is means that women are able to be the biggest players and kind of keep it on the down low, and men get all the hate for being the biggest players, even though they're not. Some men are big players, no doubt about that. Some men are very, very big players, and they are going through lots of bodies, and they're being very, very naughty, and they're taking all kinds of liberties, and good luck to them. Congratulations to those guys. But the point is, that is a very small proportion of men. That is not the majority of men. And the issue that we have here is that women really only focus on those guys that they think are attractive, okay? They only really focus on the top 10%, the top 20% anyway, maybe even the top 5%, right? They're focused on those guys, and so they look at those guys and they think, oh, men are all such players because they're all running around and they're having sex the whole time and blah, blah, blah. What they don't realize, or what they fail to remember, is that most dudes are just invisible to the guy who serves them in Chick-fil-A or in McDonald's at the drive-thru or whatever, right? They're not going to remember that guy. They don't even see that guy. They look through him. The guy who works in Publix, the guy who works as the local barista, whatever. They're not even seeing those guys. They're not even conscious that those guys exist. So for them, those dudes don't even come into the equation. And look, it's not all about money. It's not all about economic resources, but that's an element to it, right? You know, these guys are economically probably not where these women want them to be, and maybe in terms of looks and so just general social status. So those guys are immediately, they're not even in the picture. So women don't even consider those men, but those men, and particularly if these are kind of average dudes, maybe average in looks, average in everything else, in every other metric, those dudes are not out there spinning plates and being players. They're just not, because they haven't got the ability, they haven't got the access to be able to do that. And yet men are the ones accused of being players. It's crazy, but this is just the world we live in. This is how it is. We have to see the reality. We have to understand that women are the players, men are the pawns, for the most part, unless you can find a way to flip that script, which you absolutely should if you're a dude. This is how things are, okay? Because it's a market-driven phenomenon, and we have to accept that, and we have to find ways around it. And listen, I'm not blaming women for being players. I'm not criticizing women. I think, you know, you're born with a certain deck of cards, and you play that deck of cards to the best possible advantage, and you have a good time. I mean, the issue that women have, though, is not so much on that side of things. The issue that women tend to have is when they then want to consolidate, when they want to then lock down on a high-value man, are they able to do that? That becomes challenging because, for a start, all women are sort of competing for the same dudes, so that's a problem. And secondly, these high-value guys, as we've said before, are not generally loyal, okay? Or they're not compelled to settle down, and they probably don't want to settle down because they've got plenty of options. They've got other things to do. So it's a conundrum. It's difficult. I would recommend women watching this just, again, be aware of this stuff and just sort of think, well, what do I actually want out of this? And maybe you do just want to have a bit of fun for the time being, and that's cool. But remember, the party doesn't last forever. The party will end. It will come to an end. You don't want to be left on the shelf. So just keep that in your mind, okay? And have a think and decide, is the way that I'm living life at the moment, is this strategy really the best for me? Okay, am I really getting what I want out of this? And then act accordingly based on that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Please do drop me a comment below, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.